Hello, we've heard so often this expression, follow the science, and I think it's something uh, that's been overused and it's going to come back and haunt us. It may already be doing that. The government should not really, I think, be in hoik to experts or to the civil service or indeed to mass protests. These things might inform debate or generate discussions, they might even provoke decisions, but they should not be the things behind which a government hides and which dictate government practice. We need to weigh up, for example, medical expertise against political and economic decisions, and we need to have been doing this for a long time. Uh, what we've seen over the period of the COVID pandemic is a distortion of government authority, and this has continued and continued. It's got more and more distorted, and I believe it's had an international effect as well. People have taken advantage of the fact that our governments really are not governing. The people who are governing us or have been governing us for the last few years really have been medics. We clap for the NHS. Fine, I don't mind clapping for the NHS. I think the NHS is a bit of a mess at the moment, and we shouldn't be clapping for the NHS. We should be funding the NHS properly and sorting it out. But okay, let's clap for the NHS. But why weren't we clapping for supermarket workers who, unlike rail workers, unlike teachers, didn't retreat, didn't close their business. They continued through thick and thin, even if they were scared. As for teachers, I mean, I'm banging my own drum here a little bit, but why have we not been clapping teachers? I know many teachers who, even though many schools have closed, many teachers have continued teaching throughout the pandemic, putting themselves at risk. Now, what's happened? We've seen it in the last few days. The SNP now plan to follow their own rules and plan to make up their own rules without going back to Parliament. This is something really that Boris had already pioneered. There is precedent for this. And we should be grateful, I think, that that precedent has now been challenged, at least in the English bit of our parliamentary democracy, by the backbenchers who stopped, for example, the full Christmas lockdown, which was recommended by the experts, by SAGE. The government should not be hiding behind experts. This isn't government. This is toadying to others, and it sets a really bad example. And I think not only the toadying is bad, but it's mixed in the case of the COVID pandemic. It's mixed with coercion and control. We've seen all three: toadying, coercion, and control. Off you go. Off you go. There we are. We need to change this. It's not too late now to pull back from the full force of this potential political disaster, because what we've now got is very, very weak politicians who are being exposed again and again as weak and inadequate. Instead of moderating our behaviour, we have been responding to government tyranny, and it doesn't matter where it is. We've seen it now in Moscow. We've seen it in other countries. Government tyranny. And why is this happening? Because it sees that it can. And we've got James Bond-like threats, therefore, on other countries. And ironically, this is met with probably the weakest posturing from some of the weakest Western leaders and politicians that we have ever produced, the weakest people imaginable. And yet, because of the pandemic, they've emerged as leaders as people with a voice. I cannot imagine how anybody can think that someone like PRITI PATEL is a viable leader in any other age except for a pandemic. PRITI PATEL would be out on her ear, particularly for the bullying allegations. But what have we got at the moment? Other than the foreign stories, the media is dominated by stories of Nadine Dorries. Nadine Dorries, for goodness sake. Who is she? She can't even do her own job, let alone anybody else's. PRITI PATEL, exterminate, exterminate! And James Heapy. James Heapy? Even the name itself. Who is this person? Who is this person? And yet, when I open my newspapers, there they are. Nadine Dorries, PRITI PATEL, James Heapy. And Rishi Sunak. Rishi Sunak, who is nodding in a sort of sage-like way, irony intended, nodding in a sage-like way and saying, I understand. Who cares? Who cares? Only a tyrant or a pope expects to issue an imprimatur. I understand. No, from your lofty position in number 11, you are not there to understand, you are there to implement financial policy that works. I understand. No, these people are headline hungry. These people are not providing proper government. This is about, this should be about ruling our country. This should be about delivering an ordered society. Instead, what we've got are non-existent people, or people who should be non-existent. What we've got is ciphers barking orders. PRITI PATEL barking orders. I mean, of course, we know Daleks bark orders. That's all they really do, and float around the place or try and ascend stairs when they're not built for it. Barking orders and savaging others in the hope that if you do someone down, you yourself are going to rise up. Again, I say, these people are headline hungry. Nadine Dorries pillaring the former Prime Minister, David Cameron. Well, of course he should be pilloried, but not by somebody in government. Oh my goodness. Look, please follow my channel, ring the bell, and let me know what you think about all this. I must say, I myself, I'm horrified, and so much of this was predictable. Oh, Bay's back. Have fun.